Hello, hello, hello. It's me, Dr. Toomer, on Dr. Toomer Talks on Tuesdays, and my, famous alliteration that everybody loves. Um, so thank you for joining us. And I have Dr. Heather Awad here, who is also helps people with weight loss through lifestyle. And um, we're all learning about the new medications as well. But I'm going to let her introduce herself because she has a very unique and very distinct population that she works with. And I know many of you fit into that population, and mainly that's people over 50. And I'll let her explain if it's just women over 50 or if it's anyone over 50. But I'll let her introduce herself, and we'll get started and start getting into questions. And also, if you're here, say hello. If you are watching as a replay, just put hashtag replay. If you have questions, I can see your questions, so you can put them into the comments and I will ask her. And or you can ask me questions also. And I just want to say hello to Chris, who's here every single Tuesday. So much appreciated. In fact, I would think I was in the wrong place if I didn't see Chris show up. So thank you for showing up again, Chris. Good evening to you. So Heather, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm a family doctor like Dr. Toomer, and I help professional women over age 50 lose weight for the last time. I was someone who had actually done pretty well with my weight, lost most of the weight after babies and had kind of stuck okay into the healthy range. But then in my late 40s, when perimenopause starts, when you don't even really know that it's starting without changing anything, my weight just started to go up and up and up. So I tried kind of the usual things that helped me lose weight before, and they just didn't work. So then I did some, more extreme dieting things, and those just ended up being yo-yos. I did one of those app-based programs, which I hated and made me feel angry every day. Um, and and so I got to the point where I was over 50 and I was definitely in the unhealthy range. And I thought, I really got to research what's going on here. So then I looked into, what happens at perimenopause and menopause and how our bodies are different. It's kind of like you get a new body again, almost like you did at puberty, but in a different way. And learned about what happens when we're 50 and above, and how weight loss is different. It's not going to work the same way as when you're 25.
Yeah.
And so that's the work that I do now, is help people who want to do this through lifestyle change.
Okay. And so when you had this happen to you, what was the transition from you experiencing this to then wanting to help other people? How long of a transition? How long have you been doing this? And what was your motivation then for
Yeah.
helping others?
Well, I've been doing it for about 2 years now. And the thing that motivated me was I kind of learned the science on it and was just kind of struggling along and doing okay, losing weight. But then I got some coaching and was able to make some mindset shifts that really made a huge difference, and all of a sudden made weight loss much easier.
Mhm.
And so I thought, well, I would love to bring this to people. I was always when I was a primary care doctor, I was always the food is medicine doctor. If you had high cholesterol, we talked about what you ate for lunch or whatever. And so I thought, gosh, I would love to help people, who are 50 and above, learn more about how to eat, so that their weight can normalize naturally, and then help them with the life coaching parts. That's the emotional eating, the food
Mhm.
pushers in your life, the buffering that people do with food, all those kinds of things too, that can, when you kind of get past those things, can make weight loss much easier.
Okay. And so, is there like a certain amount of weight that someone should lose? Like if they're over a certain amount of weight that they need to lose, then what do you do for those who have, like, say, 5 pounds versus say, 50 or 100?
Mhm.
Is there a different mechanism or a different way of approaching the issues and their weight loss when it comes to lifestyle?
It can be. For everyone that I work with, we're really going for permanent weight loss. So we're always looking to just kind of move into a lane that you're going to love for at least 10 years. I kind of say lifetime, and some people go, I can't commit to this for my whole life. But people over 50 are looking at that, at their health goals
Mhm.
a little bit more on long term. And so I say, well, we want to look at how you're going to eat a little more long term as well. So if people have more weight to lose, we talk about kind of where that's come from. Is it just from menopause time, or is it something more long-standing? Um, or there's so much kind of below the surface of the root causes that kind of help you decide where to start.
And yeah, so anyone listening, as I'm sure many of the people who do, most of the people I should tell you listen afterwards, but often hear me say, whatever you do now, you have to be able to do when you're 90. Otherwise, whatever falls away is just going to reverse. And so then when someone does, if they're not able, say, to maintain, how do they adjust then? Well, let me ask you this. Let me
Mhm.
reverse a little bit. What would you say are probably some of the most important things that people should do in their lifestyle changes in order to feel better, lose weight, and maintain it?
Sure. A couple of things. A big one is looking at how much refined sugar you have in your life. I usually have people take a break from it for a while, because one of the things it does is makes you look at everything that's in your cupboards that you're eating and finding the added sugar line if you're in the US, um, and knowing where those things are, because it's in 3/4 of packaged foods. I found it in my taco seasoning.
Yep.
And if I want sugar, I want birthday cake. I don't
Mhm.
want it sugar in my tacos. So sugar is a problem.
Mhm.
The other thing that I find is very helpful is that once you get past menopause, we're definitely talking about some insulin resistance issues. And insulin tells our body to store fat. So what I
Mhm.
try to have people do is to have some time where they're not eating anything. And what I mean by that is we have an eat all day culture. People graze, people are constantly handing you something. Every event, every meeting has food at it. And there needs to be times when we're not eating so that our natural digestive cycles can run. So you want to have a meal, and you want to have,
A break.
3 or 4 hours where there's no food things going on at all. You can drink coffee, tea, plain, and water, but you don't want to have really anything. And I think people get surprised by this. They say, well, I just walked into my kitchen and popped a healthy cherry tomato in my mouth. And what I tell people is that you
That's
just don't
separate.
want anything going on in the digestive system, not even healthy stuff.
Yeah.
You want to have a break in between your eating times so that your body can naturally draw fat for energy.
And so would that be what would be considered intermittent fasting?
Not necessarily. I would
Okay.
say about half of my clients just eat 3 meals and only
Mhm.
have a snack if they're really like, my body is hungry, I need to eat. Because you should always eat when you're hungry. Um,
Well, when you say a break, how long of a break should there be? Is it
well,
how many hours, a certain number of hours? Is it based on the person? With all these, um, I guess, what are they called? Surveys and quizzes online, like how to determine your hormonal, or like we're all different somehow hormonally.
okay.
Or how, intermittent fasting, how many hours not to eat throughout the day. So when you talk about giving your body a break, what exactly does that mean in terms of numbers?
Well, I would say that you want to have ideally at least 12 hours overnight of not eating. More could be better. I think that the amount of hours that we take off, we don't have great science on any of it.
Mhm.
So even when I have people who will do intermittent fasting, where they'll, you don't necessarily have to do it every day, but let's say on Wednesdays, it's really good for you to not have breakfast. You're not hungry, and you're going to eat, let's say at noon and 5 for your meals. I still tell people to have their meals and not snack the whole time that they're in
Mhm.
their eating window. To still eat, feel satisfied, and then have some time of not eating, and then eat again when they're hungry again. Um,
Okay. And does it matter what someone eats during that time, or is it more important that they're eating, or that they're not eating, or what they're eating?
I think that people over 50 need to have protein, fiber, and healthy fats at all their meals. We really need that protein because we're losing. protein mass. It
Mhm.
really helps keep our blood sugar stable, and helps us stay satisfied in between meals. Again, the fiber is super important for our health going forward and helps us notice when we're feeling satisfied from eating. Um, and then the healthy fats, I just love them because they help you stay full longer, and
Mhm.
they don't make your blood sugar or your blood insulin do anything.
Mhm.
So a little olive oil on your salad, or when I eat leftovers, they're kind of dry in the refrigerator. I'll put some little olive oil
Yeah,
on them, you know.
some avocado.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
and it's really great for skin and hair as well. I always tell people it's like
yeah.
that's
Good
really
point.
good. Um, and so and it's really nice to hear you say this because I know people who listen to me and who follow what I do probably get sick of hearing the same thing over and over and over again just for me. So it's nice to have it's like someone else is saying it too. Um, and so if someone wanted to work with you,
Mhm.
how would they go about finding you and what should they expect?
Probably the easiest way is to just find me with my website, heatherawadmd.com.
Okay.
Um, there is a free video course there for women over 50 right now. But there is also a way to book a call with me. I'm happy to talk to you if you want to talk about your weight loss journey and what your next steps would be. I do this frequently and very happy to do that with
Okay.
people
So you
there.
said Heather awadmd.com.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna add that to the bottom. Um, let me see, where'd it go? Show. Okay. So
Oh,
there it is. So you can go to her website and you said that there is like a course in your website, a free course that
mhm.
people could follow. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to consult, there's a way that they could consult with you as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And so what would they expect then in a consultation?
We talk about kind of their weight loss story and think
Mhm.
about what the next steps are. Um, there, as you and I have talked about before, there's all the biopsychosocial issues. Is it a good time to um, go on a weight loss journey now or not? And just what the next steps are. There's so many different things. Are there other things that need to be taken care of first? Um, are there certain directions to that we can point them in, whether it's for medication or lifestyle or treating some other underlying causes like depression and burnout at work. Um, so I'm happy to talk about those things.
Okay. All right. And so when someone does, is it one-on-one? Is it as a group? How do
Oh
you
yeah. So if
then
somebody
work
wants
with people?
Yeah, so if we decide that it's a good time for us to work together, you do get one-on-one coaching with me. We do it for 3 months. And then there is an ongoing alumni call every month. So people are always supported. That's just kind of ongoing.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, um, and then when someone's worked with you for 3 months and they have their alumni call, then what should they expect? Um, if they can't seem to hold on to some of the things, life changes, things happen, and they
Yeah.
can't change, then what?
If they want continued coaching,
Mhm.
there is definitely a place for that, and a
Okay.
few people do that.
Mhm.
I would say that the majority of people feel pretty set to go on without me,
Good.
and usually only pop in to ask a nutrition question or a sleep question or to tell me, hey, I just wanted to let you know I kept losing weight and here I am and this is my story. So I had someone who recently just came back to tell me that she's like, I just wanted you to know I lost 15 more pounds and
Mhm.
just wanted to tell you that. So
Yeah,
that's
that's the best feeling. It happens, to me all the time. I do
yeah.
work with people short periods, and then especially when I used to have a brick and mortar office,
Ah.
and so I closed during COVID and went online, and so all of the people I used to see locally, now that we're out and about, I'll run into them, and,
Oh.
there have been a couple people I've walked past and didn't recognize. And, even with masks on, sometimes they recognize me, and it's really
Yeah.
surprising.
Oh, funny.
So, well, is there anything you just like to add as a closing? Because it's interesting because we do a lot of the same things and
We
we
do.
talk a lot. And so
Mhm.
you've told everyone everything that I've tried to get across. And so this has actually been a perfect conversation. So is there anything else you'd like to add before we say goodnight?
I would just say also love yourself all the way down. There is no need to wait to love yourself. If you wait to love yourself till after you lose the weight, you will not love yourself then. You have to work on that part anyway, alongside the journey. So it's optional to work on that immediately. If you're not doing that, I would say, definitely that's a super important.
That's a start. Well, before we go, there is a question.
Mhm.
So Chris asks, how does it work to eat when you're hungry and keeping the body from going into starvation mode?
Yeah. So you have to kind of start to be able to feel what hungry feels like.
Mhm.
So it's a gnawing, empty feeling. It comes in waves and then goes away. Sometimes even what I'll do or what my clients will do is feel that feeling, that wave, and then maybe have a glass of water and see, was that really hungry? Because that wave will come back again. You'll just
Mhm.
kind of feel it in your gut, and then you know that it's time to eat.
Yes. And as I'm sure as you know, one of the things that you alluded to, and Chris also, is that sometimes our body, when we're dehydrated, tells our brain we're hungry. And so by drinking water, it actually can stave off some of that feeling. Some of it's just volume, putting volume in your stomach, but then some of it is just you're simply thirsty and your
Yeah.
body doesn't know to tell you you're thirsty. It will tell you you're hungry, but you'll crave that juicy thing
Mhm. And I
often.
don't and I tell people, don't I'm never telling you to, like, drink water instead of eating. But
Hmm.
like you said, our brains often go, "Oh, snack time. Oh," but really you just needed a glass of
You
water.
just need to drink more.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Again, if you want to contact Dr. Awad, this is our website, heatherawadmd.com, and there's a free course there. And also, you can arrange to have a consultation if that's so choose. Now, I do have one question. What if it's a man? Do you work with men at all?
I don't at this point in time.
Okay.
I
Okay.
do, the only I should say, I get some people who have spouses who are men, and I allow of course, people can share. We're family
Mhm.
doctors, so of course, I'm like, whatever we
Yes.
have to share
Hmm.
with your family,
Yes.
because
And when someone is worried about menopause, now you say women over 50, is this for women by a particular age, or is it anyone who's starting to go through menopause, even if they're in their 40s?
I do accept people in their 40s if they're starting to notice that up and up from
From
menopause.
menopause.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This has been great. And it's nice to have a kindred spirit on the
Yes.
show. And so, again, if anyone has any other questions, they can put them in the comments. This will stay, of course, up. And then, or you can contact me or contact Dr. Owad as well if you have other questions, or if you're just trying to contact her or you're just trying to figure out what to do next. So,
Thank you for having me.
thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, and good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us.